with the live, I wanted to ensure that we had all of the content. So that's why I decided to do a second part of the live. Thank you so much to everyone who is going to join, and thank you so much for everyone who is going to catch the replay of this particular live, which is probably going to be the only live that I'm going to be doing until the fall. Because, baby, it is too hot. Okay, it is way too hot, and I want to focus on the upcoming work that I have going on. So, as I was telling you prior to here, we are going to have an extension for the Summer Accelerator program. I am going to keep the registration open until August 1st. The Summer Accelerator program is 21 days. And if you are asking what you need in order to join and to participate in the program, all you need is access to the internet. You need a reliable internet and you need a phone, a tablet, or a computer. That is it. And you can join from wherever you are. You don't need to be wherever. If you are on vacation, having a margarita, doing whatever you want, all you need also is to make sure that you are going to allocate the proper time in order to benefit fully from our program. You will need to be dedicated and be committed for the particular program. The Summer Accelerator program, guys, don't forget that it is going to be focusing on self discipline and self motivation. When you participate into the program, you're going to have access to 3 workshop development. You're going to have access to your deadline calendar. You'll have access to your weekly worksheet. You'll have access to 4 books, and mostly you'll have access to 6 hours of private mentoring and so many other things that I have for my participant. Okay, it's 21 days. So if you join from before August 1st, you have 21 days to join, and the program is 21 days. It is an accelerator program. When you are working, it is specifically designed. If you have a project that you want to do, if you are someone like you have a project, you want to participate, you are thinking about something, you are having an idea, you don't know how to implement the idea, you're stuck with an idea, you're stuck with a business idea, you're stuck with a business project, this is going to be a great exercise, especially for those of you who are already in business, but you are thinking about new products, you are thinking about new services, you are thinking about upgrading, changing your business. Join the Summer Accelerator Program. Join the Summer Accelerator Program. You're not going to miss out of it, right? It is the most short program that you're going to have, but you are definitely going to benefit a lot from the program. So, when it comes to projects, when it comes to project implementation, when it comes to project development, you need to know how to work when it comes to project. A lot of times people start working on project and they're not allocating the proper time frame. Every project has a different time frame. There are projects that are lengthy. There are projects who may take you years of completion. There are projects with the proper timing, it may take you a few months for you to implement the project. So when you have a project, just a little one too, when you have a project and you're thinking about, okay, how long is it going to take for me? You have to first, you have to be able to take the idea. So you have the project in mind and you have to write it down. If you're not writing the project down, if you're not writing the idea down, then you can't really look and see, okay, what is it that I am going to need in order to implement my project. So the first phase is to think about, okay, what is it that I want to do? Now you have to tell yourself, how long is it going to be, right? Is this something that I only want to do for one day? Is it a project that I want to do for a weekend? Is it how exactly am I envisioning the project that I have in mind, right? So you have to think about that. The second thing that you have to think about is, okay, am I going to be the person running the project? So is it going to be a project that I'm not going to need any collaborators? I'm not going to need any partners in the project. I am going to be able to have the capacity to run it by myself. So this is something that I don't need the extra support. I don't really need the extra, resources. I have everything. So now, if this is like this, then the budget for the project, it could be something that you don't really need any budget for because you already have access to all of the resources for your project, right? The third thing that you have to think in mind, if it's not a project where you have all the resources, it's okay, am I going to need collaborators? Am I going to need partners? Right? We talked about the difference between collaboration and the difference between partnership. It's not the same thing. Someone who is collaborating is basically participating for a short term project. The person is only there for the duration of the project, and that's it. They're not sharing the task, they're not sharing the money with you, and they're absolutely not sharing the profits with you. However, someone who is going to partner with you in a particular project, now you have to sit with the person, and you're going to have to write a contract with the person, between you and the person, so that you can have shared task. So you and the person is going to be talking about who's going to be accomplishing those tasks and who's going to be accomplishing this other part of the task. You're also going to be talking about resources, who's bringing what, right? Who's going to be talking about that, who's going to be bringing this, and then you're talking about shared profit. When the project is over, okay, what are we getting? How are we going to separate the profit that we are making? So this is everything that you have to take in mind when you are thinking about a project, when you are going to work on a project, when you are going to select who is going to be a part of the project. A lot of the times, specifically for people who are starting a business idea, or they are launching a project that they want to do, we tend, or people tend, you tend, because I've never done that, people tend to want to work with people they know, like friends, good, friends, family members. And when you do that, you are overlooking the skill sets of other people who actually could work with you. There could be people that are in your proximity, so friends, because a lot of the time we are turning toward people that we know. So there could be people that are in close proximity of you who actually have the skill sets and also have the resources that you need to work on a particular project. And you have to be the judge of that, and you have to evaluate those skill sets. For example, when I did the webinar, my older sister worked with me on that, and another person who actually knows my sister, they've worked together before. It's so weird that my sister never introduced me to that woman, but I know the woman because I participated in I think it was Caribbean Network. I was a part of that, and that woman also was a part of that. I got to see, when we worked together, I got to see the ways in which she was working. She was very dynamic. She's just like myself, extreme, Dr. Lysias. She's very dynamic, and we share a lot of values, specifically when it comes to the country of Haiti. We see things similarly. So I've always, whenever I'm doing a project regarding health, she's always at the top of the list of the person that I am reaching out to. The second thing is that me and her, we definitely have built a nice relationship outside of us working. When you are a part of a network, when you are a part of a group, that is your task. Your task is not to always want to be friends with everybody. You want to be, no, you're not. People join groups for various reasons. Some people join networks just to be able to put it on their resume that they were a part of X network, that they were a part of that network for 2 years, for 3 years. And people have their own agenda, but your task when you join a network is to identify people who have it is to identify people who have skill sets that you do not have. You're not always going to have everything. God is not going to bless you with everything, although He blessed me with everything. But when you join a particular network, a particular group, you have to identify the people who have skill sets that you don't have. That's how you're going to balance things out for a project that you may want to do or a business that you may want to do. You don't go towards someone who is just like you. You don't go towards someone who has the same skill sets that you have. You have to go towards someone who can balance you out, who have skill sets that you don't have or you haven't mastered yet. I remember the early days of the youth agency. Oh my God, I dreaded those days because I would write the most toughest emails to people. Like I didn't have any filter when it came to correcting people, or if I, it was like, oh my God, the ways that I would write. I would literally write emails the way that I would think. What I would tell people, that's exactly what I would send out. And at the time, I used to work with this lady. Her name is Joanne Antoine, and Joanne is a diplomat. That's what she studied. So there came a time where Joanne was like, Abika, she was like, before you send an email, how about you send it to me and then I'll review it. So Joanne was the person who took on the task of replying to emails for me. And I got to see the way that she would write her emails. And I got to see the way that she would be a diplomat with her emails. So I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from writing emails through Joanne, because in the beginning, my emails were pretty tough. They were pretty tough. And when you write emails like that, people feel a particular way about the ways that you communicate with them. So everything in life is a learning process, but you have to understand that. And also, when you are working with someone who is correcting a behavior that you have, specifically, these days, I was going to say specifically for those of us who are here in Haiti, but you have to understand that Haiti getting ready to be open now. You're going to be working with a variety of people, and everybody doesn't work the same way. Everybody has a different way of working. So when you are choosing people to work with you, Joanne working in Haiti has worked a lot more with European people, French people. My sister has worked a lot more with American people, and their delivery was very different, but it was so refreshing. By the way, the webinar is up on the Beacons account, the webinar on HIV and AIDS as it relates to the Haitian community. Those of you who are interested in joining and participate, I have the footage, so it's amazing. These ladies outdone themselves for the youth agency, and I can't wait for 2027. The things that I really want to do with HIV and AIDS, because I do want to continue it, which is another thing that you're going to have when you are doing project, right? When you are doing, I think it's gonna rain. When you are, or maybe not. When you are doing projects, sometimes you may do something for just once, and then it's like the reply, it took on so well, you liked it, and you automatically thinking, oh my God, you know what? I don't want it to be a one time thing. I actually want to continue. I actually want to be able to, continue. So this is exactly what took place with the webinar. I really, it was phenomenal. I loved it, and I'm like, I can't stop. I'm not gonna stop. I actually want more people to hear about what we have to say. The webinar was well done. It was well presented, but I want more people to know. So we're already working about the second edition of this HIV and AIDS and how we are going to implement it, or how. But who's the head behind this project? It's myself. So even if when you are the head, oh my God, oh my God, when you are the head of something, you have to remember that you're the driving factor. So yes, the ladies, they loved it, they collaborated with me, but this is a collaboration and not a partnership. So they don't have heavy shared task. So when it comes to the second edition, or the continuity of the project, or promoting the project, like continue to promote the project, it falls on my shoulder and not their shoulder, because they collaborated with me on this project. Now, if it was a partnership, perhaps they would also have the task to promote, to come, and things like that. Now, when it comes to the second edition of the project, I'm working on, are we doing a partnership, and are still continuing with the collaboration, but is it going to be a deeper collaboration? Do you understand? You have to understand those things when you are doing project. And when you are seeking fundings, you have to understand that there always need to be the initial phase. No one or very little people are going to just give you money like that when they are not seeing, okay, what have you done? Stop asking people for money and you haven't done shit. People are not going to give you money. Nobody's going to give you money. Okay. People are going to give you money if they're saying that you're working, if they're saying that you are about something. Nobody's going to give you another dime. It's a hard economy. Fundings are closed everywhere. So it's really tough. You have to know how to compete for the cash. You have to know how to compete for the people that you want to invest. You have to know how to compete for. You have to know how to compete when it comes to cash. Everybody is competing. Nonprofit and entrepreneurs are both competing. There is very little nonprofit are operating as nonprofit because fundings are no longer applicable. So imagine if you are having either a business idea and you want to compete for funding, it is a really really important that you know how to put your best foot forward, right? Investors, angel investors, big investors, they want to see that you have already launched a project. They want to see that the project is viable. It's viable. Like, they're not going to give money towards something that is going to be a fluff. So it's important for you, if you are someone who's seeking money, to start doing those little startup, those little test the market. Let's test about, okay, I'm gonna launch this, I'm gonna do this, but you need to be structured when you are doing something like that. The youth agency already have a partner for the upcoming webinar on HIV and AIDS, but it's because of the way that we conducted it. It's because of who participated in the webinar. I had professional people participate in this webinar. Could I have run a webinar on HIV and AIDS on my own? Absolutely. I think I'm pretty capable of doing that. I could have done the research on my own, but then it would have been too heavy for me. If I had to do a webinar on my own presenting the topic of HIV and AIDS as it pertains to the Haitian community, it would have probably taken me 6 months, a good 6 months to run a project like that, because I would have to sit with myself and to work on all the things that I wanted to do. Whereas what I did, I said, okay, who do I have in my network that I could ask to collaborate with in order to bring this project forward? Now, if I was someone who had a significant amount of money to pay, I could have done a call for projects, right? I could have easily done a call for project and have people pitch and just chosen. But I knew that I already had people in my network, and this project was very dear to my heart as well. It was more personal than anything. So I really wanted people who could empathize with me for the things that why I chose to do the project or the HIV and AIDS. So I took Dr. Lysias, who is someone who's worked with women, someone who has also worked in Haiti, someone who have in proximity working with the community of HIV and AIDS, and my sister who is someone that's what she does. That is her area of expertise. She works on HIV and AIDS. She works on how do you say les femmes enceintes, birthing children and things like that. So these are two women, but they are also very professional, right? They professionally know about the subject that I want to talk about. You have to know when, yes, you could do something, but it is not really your area of expertise. Yes, you could have worked on something like that, but maybe you're not an engineer, so you need an engineer to work on that. Maybe you need doctors. Maybe you need a professional person, someone who knows the ins and out, who's going to be able to collaborate with. And that's not going to diminish your task. A lot of times, excuse me, excuse the dogs. A lot of times it's egos, people not wanted professional people to work with them, people not wanted, like, no, you're losing when you're doing something like that. Excuse the dog. You're losing when you are doing. Oh my God. You're losing when you are doing something like that. It's important to have people that are qualified to work with you. You're not going to be qualified in everything, or rather, it's not so much that you're not going to be qualified, but it's going to take away from the time that you could have committed to do certain things. I had to promote the project. I had to work on it. All I had to do was work with these women, tell them exactly what I was looking for, who was going to work on this part, who was going to work on that part, and I just kind of like gave the overview, and I had other works to do, all the online work I had to do, all the reaching out to contact I had to do. So you have to learn how to also delegate tasks. You can't do everything. You have to know what you're very good at. Okay, what am I good at? So I am going to be able to do this. I am going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And that other person is going to be able to do A, B, C. Learn how to delegate the task when you are having a project. Don't work with people that you are competing with. When you are doing a collaborative project, or when you are doing something that is in partnering, you want to be able to work with people who understand the vision, so that when you're done, like we were, all the three of us were so happy about the result of the webinar. And as soon as we were done, even if we didn't receive like a significant amount of participant in it, but it was so good. I can't really stress this out. And as soon as I was done, I reached out to them and I was like, I don't want it to be here, I want us to do it next year. But this time around, boom boom boom, and everybody said yes, I'm in. Even Joanne, Dr. Lizia, she's not here, she's all the way in Africa. I'm like, you know what, we are going to be looking for those fundings to get you to be, to work on that. And then that's how you work. If it was not a project, all of them, even Dr. Lizias and Madame Massé, the way that they bounce on each other when it came to what they were saying, what they were doing. My sister was really having so much work, and she took time to do this for me. I'm so, so grateful. And this is how you're supposed to collaborate when you are doing projects. This is how you're supposed to think about, who can work on this with me, who is going to like be able to jump on board. And but as the person who is leading the project, you have to know how to bring people in. You have to know how to work with people. Don't give people tasks that they can't do. Okay, do not give people tasks that they can't do. Sometimes you are giving people tasks that they can't do. Don't do it. Give people that have the qualification for certain tasks to do it. Because what happens, and I see it a lot sometimes, especially here in Haiti, you are doing an event, you're doing a project, you're working on something, and you're like, hey, you want to work with this on me, and then you give this person a title, and they can't really deliver on the title because they don't have the qualification for the title, but you've already given that to them. So then comes the next person that you're thinking to yourself, that person should have been the better person, but you've already taken the next person. So you are very, very, it's kind of like the petit soulier. You're very embarrassed, or it's kind of, you don't know how to tell that person, hey, you know what, I am you it doesn't look like you can deliver, so I am going to take the next person to do that for me. And a lot of the time you are creating tension because you already gave this to that person. You've already chosen that person without evaluating their skill set and if they were able to deliver for you. And now you're sitting there, the project has already started, and you're looking at it and you're like, that person cannot do that. You're creating tension. You're going to create tension. You're going to create friction. You're going to create, evaluate people, know their area of expertise, know their strength, what they can bring to you, what they can't bring to you, and work like that. So these are all of the little things that you're going to work on when you are joining the Summer Accelerator program. A lot of time when it comes to project development, when it comes to project implementation, when it comes to business ideas, when it comes to things that we want to do, and we are hitting a roadblock because we are missing the layout of the things that we really want to do. We want to do certain things, but we're not taking certain things into factors. Or sometimes it may not be that you cannot do the project. It may be that you're going through a lot emotionally that you just can't do it. You got to learn how to evaluate yourself, babe. We all go through shit. Sometimes the year may not be your year. It may be your off year. They're cooking. If you hear something in the background, I do believe that it's 2:30, so they're already cooking. Okay. So yeah, a lot of the times when you're thinking about it, it may be that you don't have the energy. Certain project requires certain energy, right? To do certain project, to deliver those projects to the best of your abilities, it requires that you give the project certain energy. I shared with you in the previous live that I did that the youth agency is getting ready to work on its 2027 mentorship, and this time around I am upgrading it once more. That's going to require that I really focus on what I am going to be providing to my participant. So I already know that between the month of October, because I want to start working on that early on, so that by January when the registration open, all of my work is ready. I am not going to be very much so available outside of clients. This is why I said you have to come here. You have to promote the Summer Accelerator program so that people can participate. And when you're done with that, when it comes to September, October, November, you're all full gear mode of end of the year 2027 mode. Are we here? You got to know about that. There are times where it's just not your year. We ran the webinar this year, but the webinar is something that I wanted to run in 2024, 2025. I just could not do it. It was too emotional for me. Every time I thought about the subject, I started to cry. Every time I thought about working on HIV and AIDS, mentally, I was just not there. I wanted to do it December 1st is the World AIDS Day, and I wanted to do it last December. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I would start crying every time that I'm thinking. And even when I started to work on this project, we literally started to work on it. I think it was around April. We started to work on it. And I remembered when I was speaking to Dr. Alicias and I was telling her why I had to do it. And she was talking to me. I was crying, when I was talking to her. And I didn't even think that I could do it because I was like, damn, this thing it's just, it's so much. Like I'm so emotional working on it. And but I worked on it with people who could empathize with me. I worked on it with someone, Dr. Lysias, who could understand. She understood and she was like, yeah, don't feel bad, to be really honest, XXX happened. And I think that, you're not the only person that this, you're not the only person, the only family who's going through that. So it just kind of like made me feel like, okay, I'm working with someone who understands where I'm coming from with this project, because the webinar, if I talk about it, I have the live up on this channel. It's more personal than anything. So you have to understand when you are putting something out there, if it's personal. If you're working on a project, if you decide to open a business, what are your reasons? There are sometimes that there may be a project that you have to do, and it's personal. It's something that happened to you and you decide that, what, I really feel like I have to work on that. I really feel like it may just be very overwhelming for you. Maybe you went through something that's so overwhelming, and or maybe you want to come to Haiti and you want to do something for the country of Haiti, following everything that took place, but it's overwhelming for you to start the project, to even put the idea down, because it's personal, it's very emotional, and it's just not the time for you to work on it right now. And you have to be okay with that. Don't force yourself to do things, because when you're not ready, God is not going to put the right people around you to do it. When you're not ready, God is not going to put the right idea. God is not going to put the right people. Because whether you are, we're not talking religion, but we are spiritual being. And when you are getting ready to do something, if you are ready, then you are in alignment, the right people are going to come for you to do something. If you keep wanting to do something, excuse me, if you keep, Okay. If you keep wanting to do something and there is a roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, you can't do it, you got to go into prayer mode. You got to go into prayer mode because I guarantee you, as someone who works for myself, as someone who sees so much, the level of crooked people that are outside that are going to tell you that they want to join you, that are going to tell you that they want to work with you, that are going to come and tell you the most just so that they can either steal your ideas, they can steal your collaboration, they can steal your partners, they can steal something that you have going on. So if you don't have the spirit of discernment, how are you going to move forward? If you don't have the spirit of discernment, how are you going to be able to move forward? Excuse me. So it's a lot when because we don't have the world that we had. We have a world where everyone has something going on. I am so proud, by the way. Let me give a big shout out to my baby cousin. Her name is Gabrielle, and she lives in Laval, Quebec. Excuse me. She lives in Quebec, and she is doing an amazing job when it comes to nail. My baby cousin, that literally I used to see on Pampers. I don't want to put you out there like that, but I used to see on Pampers. She's a whole entrepreneur. She's a whole entrepreneur. I'm so proud. Doing nails, doing the best of nails. Gabrielle, how old are you? I don't even know if Gabrielle is 20 yet. So you see what I'm talking about? She is a whole entrepreneur. Her page, she just opened her page. I think it's Gabby's Nail X. She is located in Quebec. She is doing an amazing job. I can't wait to see her so that she could just like do my nails for me too. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Like, we don't have the world that we have before. And when it comes to entrepreneurs, let me just go ahead and put it out there. There's so much like we have to log off. But when it comes to the online community now, you have to know that people who are online these days are also working people. So you are constantly competing. That means that you cannot look at the online community and say to yourself that, oh, I'm just going to be online. I'm just going to be an entrepreneur, but you're not going to invest in those tools that are going to differentiate yourself. We talked about that. It's great to be an entrepreneur. It's great to do something, but invest in your skill sets. Being an entrepreneur, I cannot stress that enough. It's not a recipe for you to sit there and say that I'm an entrepreneur. But when you open your mouth, people are asking themselves, an entrepreneur? No. Even when you have the money and you are able and capable to hire people for you to run your business, you need to be able to know about the business that you are putting out. You really need to be able to know about the business that you are putting out. You don't want to be someone and you are hiring people to work on a business model for you and they are literally sitting there and either not running the business properly or they are sitting there and it's kind of like you are getting yourself eaten out. So entrepreneurship is not an open door to do whatever you want to do, however you want to do. It is not. You are competing with people that have degrees, literally people who actually went to school and who started to work. It's not working for them. They're literally turning their skill sets and what they've learned into school into entrepreneurship. So if you have someone who has the skill sets, who knows it, but you also have someone who not only has the skill set, who knows what they're talking about, but who also have the credential, who do you choose? You're going to choose the person who has the whole package. You're going to choose the person who has the credential. You're going to choose the person who has the skill sets as well. So if you have the skill set, it's important for you to get accredited for those skill sets. It's important for you to join technical school, to join vocationals, join a place where it's kind of like it's gonna give you another leverage against the person. When I tell you it's a competitive world, it is a very competitive world. It is a fun world because this is a world where everybody is doing their own thing, but it is also very competitive. I'm gonna close down with this. I remember, I think the year was 2017. Back then, I used to work a lot of my contract jobs, and there was a woman who was working a contract with me. She had two sons, and older sons, white lady from the U.S. And I remembered she was retired after working. I think she worked for 35 years in the tech industry. And I remember this year was the year was 2017. She told me, she was like, the times are different. Like if I had, like she told me, she's like, I'm not counseling any of my sons to go work for someone for the longest of time because I already know that the times are different. One of her sons were, both of them went to college, but one of them was already a YouTuber and he had a great following. She's like, we are, me and my husband, we are encouraging him in that route. The other one was a gamer, right? So people who do game, people who, big gamer are very, very big. I think both of my nephews are gamers, but their parents are still pretty much people who believe in traditional education. But if I had children right now, and let's just say that you were really into like online gaming, baby, I'm pushing you hands down. I'm buying you everything that you need. I'm investing in you. I'm investing in skill sets that I see that you naturally possess and that is going to take you off. You could, school is not gonna go anywhere. You can always go to school. There is not an age for us to go to school and stop school. Personally, I feel like I would have benefited a lot better from college if I had chosen to enter college in my 30s. Because in my 30s, is although I started the youth agency in my late 20s, but as I started the youth agency, this is exactly when my mind started to be more mature. So I could have topped it off with that. Whereas it's kind of like I had to enter college right after high school, and I really, was not the best at it because I did it just because it was the norm. It was something to do. As a parent, you have to know these things. So let me just congratulate my cousin also and her husband for encouraging their daughter to do that, this entrepreneurship thing, because they are not from that generation, but they literally are encouraging her to do it. And that's how you do it. You have to encourage your children that already have this natural entrepreneurship skill set in that route. Why push them into a traditional route, and then it's kind of like 4 or 5 years they give you the degree and you are in debt and they don't do shit with it. They don't do shit with it. That's not something that they were interested in the first place. So start encouraging children, your kids that are of age or maybe young or whatever they are doing. They love makeup, they love, fashion, they love gaming, they love music. Encourage them in the direction. Look for certain school. When you are looking for school, look for programs that are catering to their skill sets. Oh, I can't wait for 2027 because when I tell you I have a lot coming in to support people. I wish that I had these things. I mean, to be really honest, my mom put me in a lot of extracurricular stuff. I went to dancing when I was 3 years old. I played the piano, I played the flute, I went to theater school. So my mother really invested in a lot of those extracurricular stuff. But when it was time for me to, do my creativity, unfortunately, they really wanted the degrees. They really wanted those things that are more traditional, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you really think about it, I've always been a creative person, and I've always workshop development. I've been teaching and doing workshop development in Haiti since I started in Haiti, since the year 2011. So it's not new to me. Just the setup and the way that we are doing it right now is very, very different, because back in the day I would be the person who would present those workshops, and now everything is digital. But I've been doing it and it's so funny. I'm talking to you and I'm having
it's kind of like weird because it's like I'm talking to you and my setup is there. It's like my mind just blinked for a minute and I'm like I'm talking to people live right here. So, the world is changing, guys. Change with it. Encourage your children, empower your children. There are so many different schools in Haiti. Miss Ami, I need to stop being lazy and start pushing a few babies out. Do I really want to push babies out or do I want to be a rich auntie? Hmm? Do I want to be a mommy or do I want to be a rich auntie? Hmm? I don't know, girl. I think we're gonna settle for the rich auntie. Anyways, guys, there's so much happening also in the country of Haiti when it comes to school because you have people who are around my age who are understanding the value of education, but they are implementing different ways of education. And I can't wait to present the calendar for 2027 for the work of the youth agency. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of everything that I'm getting ready to bring to my country to I'm just really excited about everything. But like I said to you before, summer accelerator program registration is open for the duration of the month of July. I'm closing down on August 1st, so you have 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks to submit your registration to join the summer accelerator program, guys. Participate, you're not gonna lose. And also, maybe today it's the okay. Maybe I'll come back because there was so many things. There was another thing that I really wanted to talk to you about regarding politics. If I have time, this week, I don't know. If not this week, the next week, I'll try to come because I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be working, but it's just so hot, to be putting all those things. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it. So maybe you guys will see me because there was something else that I really wanted to talk to you guys about that I didn't get the chance to talk about. So maybe I'll find the time to come. If not this week, then definitely next week. All right, guys. I look forward to seeing everyone. Those of you who are going to participate. Thank you for everyone who stopped by, and thank you for everyone who is going to catch the replay. Have a beautiful week. Have a beautiful summer months. Invest in yourself. Invest in your children. Invest in yourself also. Invest in those skills that God has given to you. Enjoy your summer months. Make the best of it. And I will see you soon.